Content warning, y'all. We have lots of fun making this podcast, but remember, we watch a lot of R-rated films, use language that reflects that, and joke about heavy topics to create levity around these themes. If that doesn't feel safe or could be triggering, please take care of yourself. We want you to have fun listening too. This also means we might not be suitable for children. Oh yeah, and we spoil the end of all the movies we pod about. Thanks for listening.
To the red one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're off.
Wow. This week I'm in charge of LOL. I'm trying.
Z gets to push the buttons.
I like how this is something that was gifted to me to use, and I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck how to use it at all. And you're like guiding me through using it, when the first time you used it, I had to guide you through how to like turn it on and shit like that. And now you're like, this is how you turn it on. I'm like, I know how to turn. Anyway, yeah, it's really funny
how the turntables have mastered the hell hunted.
Anyway, hi.
Hey, what's up? Y'all ever go to Patreon?
Y'all ever heard of this thing called Patreon?
We love it so much. You should really check it out.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's like just like there's this one specific one. It's patreon.com/ZNKpod, and it's like really cool. Like you have to pay like $1 a month or whatever, but it's like totally worth it. Like you can pay more than that if you want, but like there's no like requirement to pay more than $1 a month, and then you can just like get access to like a bunch of stuff. And it's like so cool.
It's like OnlyFans, but for
audio. It's like OnlyFans, but there's no nudity, and you're not gonna really get anything out of it. It's so worth it. You can listen
it's still
to
jack
it.
Off material.
No, I guess that's fair. I guess that's fair. I do talk a lot, so yeah. Yeah.
We're also on all the socials.
Yeah, we have all the social media.
Yada yada.
Twitter, Instagram.
You know, if
we don't do it, we have a Facebook page, but we don't ever post to it.
Oh yeah,
because it's pointless.
I only did that
right, so we could
specifically so we could use the.
I like posted it to Facebook one time, and you were like, "Was that intentional?" I was like, "It was not."
Yeah, I think I've done that too.
You have the Instagram set up to post. Like if you post an image on Instagram, it's set up to automatically post to your your personal Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yes. You have to automatically turn it off every single time. Like if I post an image,
automatically turn it off?
No, sorry. I manually turn it off every single time. Like it's not I meant it's not automatic. Like it's automatically on, and you have to manually turn it off every time. And so like anytime I make a post on there, I'm like, "Nope, don't post this one."
God. I'm so sorry.
I don't know why. It's just wild. You must have accidentally with your sausage fingers clicked a button that you didn't mean to click. Yeah. You're big, hunky.
We never talked about that, but yeah, I have.
You don't actually.
Just,
you have really.
A couple cans of Vienna sausages at the end of. At the end of 2 little sticks.
2 little sticks.
I just look like a.
Cans.
You know what? I look like a snowman.
No, you have really nice hands, actually.
Mm.
I've
never heard you compliment them.
I have because I have a thing about hands. Like Dean Winters, you know, who plays the Vulture. I used to think he was super hot until I saw a close up of his hands, and I was like, and I just immediately was like, I don't think he's. And I was like, nope.
If you've read any Samuel Delaney, he's always talking about people biting their nails, or like he loves fucked up nail beds and shit.
Oh, fucked up nail beds are just painful. But I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
He's
It's
into it.
It's character development.
It's also, I think, a personal kink.
Oh,
of
interesting.
his.
Interesting.
Not a kink, but anyway. Obviously, we're talking about Los Angeles narrative.
We went different directions with that.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said La Story. Does it feel weird not being in control?
No.
That sounded so passive aggressive, but I'm just tired of being serious. It feels weird not having.
I don't feel any less in control than I do in my day-to-day life.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Basically, Keith suggested this movie on one of my Zed Talks, which you can find on YouTube. You were talking about, like, at the end of my video, you can see you're just like, suddenly you're just like, Richard E. Grant. And I was like, what? You're like, he's in LA Story. And I just started laughing because I was like, okay. Like, you just out of nowhere, you're like, nowhere. Out of nowhere, you're just like, Richard E. Grant. And I was like, what? But yeah, I did not know anything about this movie. I went in mostly blind. Like I didn't really want to know anything about it. I prefer that with a lot of any of the movies that I'm, gonna watch. I basically watched it because Richard E. Grant is in it. So
I don't know why we chose it for now, but
because you've been wanting to watch it for a while, and April Fool's whatever. Because that's our April Fool's / Easter's Revenge is what I call the theme of this month.
Yeah, I don't understand how it connects.
Because it's a comedy. It's supposed to be like comedy. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. It's just.
You keep saying that, and I don't know what it means.
I don't know what you mean. Yeah, I thought it was a period piece for one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought because I kept getting
Once
it confused.
Upon a Time in Los Angeles.
No, L.A. Confidential.
Confidential, yeah.
L.A. Confidential.
Not a comedy.
Right, which is not a comedy, but I thought it was. I was like, that must be why I'm getting it confused because L.A. Confidential and L.A. Story, they're both period pieces with the similar names. No, there's no period in this piece.
There's actually two.
2 periods?
L period A period.
Shit, you're
right.
Oh my god, fuck. It's a 2 period.
Decimated. 2 period piece.
Gross.
Yeah, this is one I watched a lot in high school, multiple times, as a big Steve Martin head.
Yeah, Steve Martin head.
I don't got a clever name for as a martini.
Oh. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
Anyway, me and my 2 friends were big into Steve Martin at the time, and I think me and Florida probably watched this movie together several times.
Nice.
Let me tell you, the jokes really age well. And by age, oh yeah, go ahead.
All right. So yeah, we watched LA Story. Yes, LA Story. That's what it's called.
Yep.
We already established.
Prom night.
Prom night.
That's what you kept calling April Fool's Day.
Right. Yes, I do want to watch Prom Night. Maybe that'll be one of my birthday ones.
Is that a horror?
Yeah,
movie? Okay.
with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh shit!
Right, I've never seen it ever. So ever, not even once, Keith.
Remember how she used to be called a scream queen? She was like
I don't
of the
remember
first scream queens.
I don't remember in the sense that wasn't something that I was alive for. No, I mean like that was something that was happening while I was aware of her. Like once I became aware of Jamie Lee Curtis because of True Lies and that dance scene. Du Sémon.
Which is apparently I think you're not alone in that scene. Oh no. How? Everyone is capable of violence.
Now that we've showered, shit, and eaten French fries.
No one needs to know about that.
No one needs to know about that, but I want them to know. I want them to know these things about our life.
Oh, yeah? How's your vagina doing?
It's fine. Sometimes when I get stoned, I'm convinced that it's falling out of my body. So
sometimes when you get stoned.
Yeah, when I get stoned. I'm not always stoned, so sometimes.
Sometimes, comma.
When I get stoned.
Okay.
I'm convinced it's falling out.
I. Dun it. Dun it. Dun it. Yeah, so I realized while we were watching this that it's like I would imagine I generally hate rom-coms.
Mm-hmm.
Or don't enjoy them and don't seek them out and avoid them. And I don't generally like a quote love story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if that's the main thing of
Absolutely.
the film.
Yes.
But this and then we watched The Fisher King.
Mm-hmm.
I guess before we started the pod, but
yeah,
I realized,
I'm sad that we did that before we started the pod because.
Well, we can do it again. I know it won't be the first time.
Well, it won't be the first time. I think.
But those are two very.
Yeah.
These two, that and LA Star, are very schmaltzy and fantastical love stories.
Absolutely.
That apparently I was into as a.
Oh, I
teen.
get that. Yeah. Yeah. I obsessed over Clueless.
Okay. I like
What's
that
the
one.
matter, step bro?
I remember liking it when I saw it.
I think
The first time.
Clueless is really funny, but I like as a full-grown adult watching it, I'm like, oh, her 20-something stepbrother is dating her at the age of 15.
Right. Hot. Well, she drives, so she's probably at least 16, right?
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's, yeah. So, yeah. What I liked about this was the way I don't want to say there wasn't jealousy, because it wasn't that there wasn't jealousy, but it was like, they weren't like
right
jealous. They were like jealous of not being together, not jealous of like, there wasn't possessiveness,
right.
Which I was like, wow. And I really liked the part where, what's her name, was going off with Richard E. Grant.
Mm-hmm.
And so Steve Martin was like going to break up with Sarah Jessica Parker. And he was like, I don't, seeing someone.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay. And she was like, well, so you're going to go away with her for the weekend? And he's like, no. Right. She's possibly going to patch things up with her ex-husband. And she's like, okay, then why can't you and I like have a fling this weekend? And he's like, well, because that wouldn't be fair. And she's like, how is that fair to you? And he's like, And so they end up going away together. And I'm not saying it's all perfect, but I'm like, no, that's fair. Like, if you're like, I might not choose you, you can't expect someone to be like, well, I'm going to sit here waiting, especially since he was already seeing her. It wasn't like something, and it's already established that it's not serious, Yeah,
right.
And I loved that she has like a boyfriend who's like insists that they be non-monogamous. So she's dating a bunch of people and he just gets jealous. I'm like, oh God, it's so accurate. But like they have sex, like they go away, they have sex. And then like, as they're like post-sex cuddle, she's talking about her boyfriend and how he wants to be exclusive, and they're having a conversation about how she feels about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love this. Yeah. I was like, this is amazing, because there's no like jealousy. He's like actually like asking like questions about it. He seems inquisitive, and he seems to give a shit, you know, about their relationship and whether or not it's something she wants and how she feels about it. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is great.
Yeah.
I really don't. I mean, like, I think people assume that I'm non-monogamous because I don't know why. Because I'm with you.
It's probably my reputation.
And I'm not because I don't think non-monogamy is fine. Like, it's fine, whatever, do what you want. But it's because I just don't have the brain to be able to handle it in the sense of like, I would just be like, I can't. I've said this before. Like, if I started dating multiple people, I would dump everyone and just be like, never mind, I shouldn't have done this because it's just too much. That's like, that's too much interaction. That's too much. Like, it's hard enough to date a singular person in the sense of like, I feel like I you know, like, don't always get enough alone time.
Yeah, right.
So, like, adding more people to that, no thank you. But that's my objection is not morality. It's literally I don't actually feel like I could handle it. I think if like I started dating multiple people, I would just like dump everyone.
Yeah. Abort.
I'd be like, never mind. So anyway, but I really enjoy when movies and TV are able to portray non-monogamy or like dating multiple people without making it about toxic monogamy. Without making it, without the trope of like, I'm super jealous because you're, and like what they get in like a little argument about it, but like they're pissed. Oh man, the part where he was like, do you know how it made me feel to hear you making love in the other room? And she was like, you didn't know it was me. He's like, no, but I projected, after I found out it was you, I projected back and it didn't feel good or whatever. Oh my God. I was like, oh, that's so accurate. Yeah. But yeah, like, you know, there was aspects. He was like, you lied and said you weren't gonna, you were getting back together with your ex or something. And she was like, he is my ex. And he was like, well, fine then. He's like, two people are lying because you said you were gonna. And she's like, he is my ex-husband. And he's like, well, one person lied then.
Yeah, that fight is pretty good.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me you just broke up with someone?
How do you know I just broke up with someone?
Because when men just break up with someone, they always run around with someone much too young for them.
She's not so young. She'll be 27 in 4 years. I tried to get out of it. I'm up here with her, and all I can think about is you.
So that's why you made love to her this afternoon?
Yes! I know that doesn't make a lot of sense. And why me in this? You practically broke through our wall. You know how that made me feel, hearing you with someone else?
You didn't even know it was me till later.
Yeah, but I projected back when I found out.
Yeah.
I also like that it happens. To me, it looks like the footage of the beach and Sarah Jessica Parker doing like cartwheels or whatever is rear projected.
Right.
It looks like they're in front of a.
Probably, yeah. Because that's how they used to shoot. That's insane to me. Finding out that they would.
It's brilliant.
It is, but
and it's very old. It's like back to the 30s. Like King Kong did that. The original King Kong did that.
Yeah. Oh God, that's wild. Yeah, the whole like. Obviously, it's called L.A. Story because it's set in L.A. Obviously. And, you know, so there's a lot of, like, L.A. tropes, you know?
Yeah. Those are the jokes that really age well.
Oh, God, I know. Sarah Jessica Parker's like, give me on a colonic.
Yeah.
And they go on a date and get a colonic or whatever, and I'm just like, oh, God. Like, why? Why is this?
I think that's probably the first time I heard of enemas.
Interesting.
It was definitely a trend.
Oh, I remember. Yeah,
okay.
I remember it was a trend.
The only part that's actually still kind of funny about that scene to me is the line out the door of people waiting to get into the enema place.
The guns on the freeway shit.
Yeah, very tasteful.
Not great. I'm like, why? Why do we need this?
Yeah, no. Well, it's funny to me is like those were the things I thought were hilarious about it when I used to watch it, and like the four-way stop thing at the very beginning.
That was brilliant. That you were like, watch this, and I was like, oh my god, like literally, that's Urbana. That is
Yes.
Urbana four-way stops. There's one right at the corner where we live, so you know exactly what I'm talking about, audience.
Also, not the case.
Well, it's like the corner of the block that we live on, a corner. I'm not wrong, and no one fucking knows how to fucking four-way stop there. The scene in the movie is there 4 people come to a four-way stop at the same time, and they all wave each other
They're all
on.
waving
They
each other.
all wave each other on, and then they all go and hit each other. I'm like, oh, it's brilliant.
That one, and when he drives 2 houses down or whatever. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Ah, so accurate.
Yeah.
L.A. roast.
Oh man, yeah.
How is Randy Newman not in this movie?
Oh fuck. How is Enya in this and not Randy Newman?
Enya's in it 3 times.
I only
Enya
clocked
3,
twice.
Randy zilch.
Enya 3, Randy knee. I don't know. I tried. What are my other notes?
I had one note, which was, of course, Kevin Pollak.
Wait, what? Oh yeah, of course.
That's the only thing I wrote down.
I know, and you showed it to me right after the movie, and I was like, "Oh, you
Spoilers.
spoiled it."
That was the thing that was surprising is all the people I recognized in this watch through that I had no clue about at the time.
Yeah,
Iman.
I know. Yeah.
Mary Lou Hinner. I don't think I knew who she was.
What?
Fucking. I don't know. Chevy Chase has got a stupid cameo.
Oh my god, yeah.
Which is not even worth anything.
I know, yeah.
Oh, Woody Harrelson. And
Yeah.
like I would have known who Rick Moranis was, but I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
He's the
That
grave digger.
scene, I was like, what
It's-
is this?
It's so forced.
Also, my favorite part is when she's quoting Shakespeare, and you said, "Oh, wow, a British woman or a British person knows Shakespeare." That's so crazy.
Great blunderman. I knew him. He was a funny guy. Taught me magic.
A fellow of infinite jest.
Yeah. That's it.
He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times.
She knows. She's got it.
Where be your jibes now? Your flashes of merriment that would set the table on a roar?
Ordinarily, I don't like to be around interesting people because it means I have to be interesting too.
Are you saying I'm interesting?
All I'm saying is that when I'm around you, I find myself showing off, which is the idiot's version of being interesting. Are you seeing anyone now?
Yeah.
Me too, so, that's sort of out.
Can I have your friend's head back then?
Also, I'm like, what are you? Someone quoting Shakespeare is supposed to be like monumental. Like, don't they teach that in school?
She gets it.
I read Shakespeare when I was like 12.
Oh.
I know, and I was like, this is boring.
Yeah, Shakespeare's not for 12-year-olds.
It's true. It's not.
mean,
but I was like, I'm cool and I'm cultured and I
Yeah.
get it. And then I
Yeah.
was reading it and I was like, I don't understand.
Same reason I chose in 11th grade to read the unabridged version of Moby Dick.
Mm.
Even though
Girl.
we were not, that was not the assignment. Like, I didn't have to read the unabridged version for the assignment. I did.
It was like Boz Lerman's Romeo and Juliet
Uh-huh.
had come out and my mom wouldn't let me watch it because I was too young.
Oh.
Because it was PG-13 and I wasn't 13.
It was PG-13.
PG-13. And so I read Shakespeare and be like, how's that? I'm reading it.
Uh-huh.
I read the book, so I know it. I read the play.
Joke's on you.
And she was like, okay. And I tried to read other ones, and I was like, oh, God, I don't care.
Yeah. I probably read some play in high school, but I can't be arsed.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe.
Women.
Yeah. And more importantly, Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen.
Oh, that's right. Was he doing a French
Yeah.
accent of like LOL?
Jean-Luc.
He was doing a French accent.
Suppose you get a reservation. And let us suppose you come down to the restaurant and we honor it. What do you think you might order?
Well, I might like to have the duck. You can't have the duck.
You can't have the duck.
Why?
You think with a financial statement like this, you can have the duck?
Yeah, I was confused at first because I'm like, well, first of all, the Bank of the Fourth Reich
Oh, wow.
is where that meeting takes place.
Yeah. I
I'm
don't
like,
think
oh, get it?
I don't think I understood.
Jesus. So I thought
was,
he was
trying
doing.
to read it, and I was like, what?
I thought he was. I was listening for a German accent,
Yeah, that makes sense.
but it doesn't because the restaurant is called Lidio. So many roasts.
Yeah, so many like.
And the
I do.
the first luncheon scene.
I like the coffee bit where they order coffee and they're all just like half calf decaf with.
I'll have a decaf coffee.
I'll have a decaf espresso.
I'll have a double decaf cappuccino.
Do you have any decaffeinated coffee ice cream?
I'll have a half double decaffeinated half cap with a twist of lemon.
You coming to
I'll have a
set
twist
that?
of lemon.
I'll have a twist of lemon. I'll have a twist of lemon, please.
I'll have a twist of lemon.
And also, that's exactly what it's like taking someone's order at a cafe.
That's not hyperbole anymore.
I seriously like one time someone ordered a half calf cappuccino. So I made them a half calf cappuccino.
Yeah.
And they were like, "What is this?" And I was like, "A half calf cappuccino." They were like, "That's not what I ordered." And I'm like, "You literally said half calf." They were like, "I want a cappuccino and I want a half calf." And I'm like, "Then why did you say it together?" They were like, "Wow." And they were like acted like I was fucking stupid because they said half calf cappuccino and I didn't understand that they were speaking about two different drinks because they did. I was
Also,
like,
you can't just say.
and I was like, "What's
half calf?"
Exactly.
A half calf what?
Right, exactly. And they're like,
You want half of a baby cow?
they're like, "I want a half calf." Like, yeah, I'm like, "What?" And but this is what they wanted to have. They didn't just want like a half calf coffee. They wanted like a half calf something. Like they wanted a cappuccino.
You fucking idiot.
Yeah, and then they
You
wanted.
have no business in this.
Also, there was
business.
this other time that I was like training a new person, and this guy came in, and he could tell that she was new, and she was like, and so I was like trying to teach her like the point of sale system.
Yeah.
And I was like, and she was like nervous, and I was like, "Girl, you're doing fine. Nothing's wrong." And he kept ribbing her, and he was like making fun of her. He was mocking her, and she missed one of his drinks, and she didn't like punch it in. So he came up, and he's like, "Oh, I ordered this other drink too." And I was like, oh, sorry about that. You know, we'll get in. She was like, "Oh, I didn't." She was like, "I'm sorry. I didn't. I must not have heard or whatever." And he just kept going, and he kept being shitty. And she was like, she started getting so flustered, and I was like, "Girl," I was like,
Get out.
I was like, "I got this." I was like, "What?" And he was like, and he started, and I was like, I just stared at him, and I was like, "I'm not gonna laugh."
Yeah, the only.
And she like came up and she was like, "I feel so bad," and I was like, "Let me tell you something." I'm like, he was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And fuck that guy. I was like, I literally don't give a shit. I'm like, I don't care. I was like, you messed up his drink, and so would have anyone else. I was like, he was being a piece of shit to you. He was purposely like just saying shit to you while you were trying to punch in the order. You missed one of his drinks. And then he tried to make you feel like shit about it. I was like, no, you did absolutely nothing wrong. I was like, I don't feel sorry for him. I was like, I feel sorry for you because you had to deal with him. I was like, but no. I was like, you don't need to apologize to him. You don't need to feel sorry for it. I was like, you did everything right, and he was a piece of shit. She was like, oh, God, okay. I was like, no. I was like, this guy was the worst. And people used to do that. Like, people would, like, just be, like, shitty. Like, yeah, what, I hate, this is like, anyway, someone ordering like a half calf, decaf, half cappuccino or whatever, and I'm like, that's exactly right. I do remember people used to, like, the most common, I know I've talked about this before, but never on the podcast, people used to come in who had, like, never encountered, like, a cafe before, and they didn't understand coffee at all. And it's so confusing to me because, like, I'm not a coffee snob. I'm not, like, one of those people, like, I'm like, oh, I don't really care where the beans were roasted. I don't give a shit about any of that. But I know the math of coffee. I know you put some squirts of flavor. Coffee has a flavor to it, so you want complementary flavors to that coffee. You don't want to... If you don't like the taste of coffee, then don't order a fucking latte, you know?
Yeah.
Because whatever. And people used to come in and there would be like, you remember the list of flavors?
Yeah.
And people used to come in and they'd be like, oh, what is that? And I'd be like, oh, that's all the flavor syrups that we have. Like, that's just a list of all the flavor syrups. And they were like, oh my God, will you make me a watermelon latte? And I'd be like, absolutely not. I will not. Every time I'd be like, no, I will not make you a watermelon latte. They'd be like, oh. I'm like, that's going to taste like you threw up into a cup. I'm like, that's not going to taste like a watermelon. It's going to taste like literal shit.
Like you dropped,
like
you dropped a fucking Jolly Rancher into a.
Yeah, I'm like, it's not going to taste good. It's going to taste bad. And they'd be like, oh, well, it's on the list. I'm like, yeah, those are all the flavors we have. We also make like Italian sodas.
Just because we can doesn't mean we should.
Yeah, I'm like, it's not actually about like, I'm like, you have to think about like, and they'd be like, well, what's a good latte flavor? I'm like, I don't know, vanilla, hazelnut, Irish cream. Ugh. Like, think about, I don't know, like, why
think of coffee drinks you've heard of before.
I know. Also, like, it drove me nuts because
think of flavors of international foods instant coffees that you've heard of.
So if this was the thing that like kind of drove me nuts because like people would come in to like the cafe that I work. So Starbucks oftentimes makes up shit.
Oh,
just,
yeah.
But it doesn't, like, it'll, like, do something, and then it makes up a weird name for it. So,
yes.
like, if someone tries to order it...
Oftentimes taking from, it helps if it's an Italian word.
Yes.
That means something totally different.
Right. But they will do something, and then they will name it something weird, but they do this so that if you go into a different cafe and try to order something... It has a really weird name, and no one knows how to fucking make it.
Or they make it, and it tastes totally different, and you're
correct.
like, oh, well, I guess I got to go to Starbucks.
Correct. And that's why
macchiato much?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So here's the thing. It was weird because like the people that I worked with will like look up all these drinks. And would be like, oh, when they order this is what they mean. When they order that, this is what they mean. And I was like, okay. So people would order a caramel macchiato.
Uh-huh.
And they were shocked when I told them that a caramel macchiato is a vanilla latte with caramel drizzle. That's it. That's all it is. It's all it fucking is. And they were like, what? And they were, like, so confused. I'm like, you will look up how to make, like, cold cream for this shit when someone orders, like, a skinny, like, a skinny venti, whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know, something stupid. I'm like, but someone's ordering...
Cold cream?
Yeah. There's, like, a weird, like, they have, like, Starbucks has this weird sort of, like foam, like, that they make that's cold. Oh. They have, like, a cold foam.
I see.
So, like... I don't remember exactly how they make it. But it's like so that you can have like a latte that's cold and you still have like the foam aspect of it. Which is like whatever. That's an interesting thing. Like a cafe can do that. That's fine. But they call it something really weird and complicated, and all it really is cold foam, and it's not that big of a deal. But they'll be like nitro foam and shit, and you're like, fucking stop, stop. Oh, we have our nitro iced cold foam cream press jizz wad coffee, and you're like,
oh, that's too far.
Anyway, but like everyone was like,
Starbucks, don't sue us.
but like legitimately, they'd be like, what is the caramel macchiato again? I'm like, how is it that you can remember these complicated fucking recipes for whatever the fuck it is, but a vanilla latte with caramel drizzle is like a fucking algebra quiz to you?
Who are you talking to?
Like my coworkers at the cafe. They'd be like, what is it again? And I'm like, do you really not fucking know? Like, also, how do you not know this?
Is
like,
this about
no. No. It's about the other one. But yeah, people would be so confused. I'd be like, yeah, if someone orders a caramel macchiato, just make them a vanilla latte with caramel drizz. And they'd be like, what? Drizzle. And I'd be like, what? Yeah, anyway. I'm just talking about. I hated working in a cafe. I hate being in the service industry.
I was going to say
the only thing I liked about it was making myself free drinks all the time.
That's fair.
And doing it right.
I had a coworker at my student job in academic advising, and she would order a quadruple decaf.
Okay.
I think just a latte.
Okay.
But people would give her shit. I would be with her sometimes, and like at one time, somebody else was like, I think it was someone was waiting for their drink, and they were already chatting with the barista or whatever, and they were like, or it should be called a why bother.
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
I was gonna say that the only reason I ever wish I could do retail again is so I could kick people out like the guy you were describing.
Oh God, yeah.
Or just like, basically be the worst employee.
There was one time that I was working at the cafe. What the fuck? There was one time I was working and it was a day shift and someone came into the cafe. I don't remember. I don't remember specifically, but my manager was like, oh, is this that person that's like been harassing people a bunch?
Mm-hmm.
And so she just like went up to him and was like, you have to leave. She was like, you just have to leave. He went out, went to the, the city building that's like right.
Mm-hmm.
He went to the city building and just pulled out his dick.
Okay.
Right there, like immediately, just like left the cafe and then went over to the city building and just whipped his dick out.
Okay.
And they were like, okay, well, glad you asked him to leave because I don't remember if he was taking a piss or what, but he just like pulled his dick and they were like, what? We were like, what the fuck?
Who saw this? How did you know?
I can't remember. I think someone else was taking the garbage out when it happened and they were like, that guy that you asked to leave just like walked over to the city building and pulled his dick out. And we were like, what? And they were like, yeah. He just like pulled it out. And we were like, okay, well, great.
Just hanging brain.
Oh.
I don't know. What do you think about this movie?
Yeah. It wasn't great, but there were aspects of it that I enjoyed. It was like a fine watch through.
Yeah.
There was like, I don't know. I felt like there was a lot of stuff. I mean, I enjoy movies from the 90s because they just give me so much nostalgia at this point that I'm just like so hungry for it. But like there was a lot of stuff that like I really liked when they were going through the like neon thing in the garden or whatever. And I was like, oh, this is such an interesting scene. And then they turn into little kids and kiss. And I was like, never mind, I'm ruined. So there's a lot of stuff like that where I'm like, oh, this is so, and then it gets ruined. And I'm like, oh. But Richard E. Grant is really fucking hot. So I was like, ooh.
You've come all this way. I'm so grateful to you. We really should give it another try.
But I'm completely happy the way things are. I'm finally getting my life sorted out.
I'm so passionate about you. Damn all convention. Let me take you for a hot dog on Sunday.
When you're like, when Richard E. Grant like kisses, what's her name? And then wipes his mouth and you're like, it's you. Sorry.
Yep.
I do. I don't enjoy.
You hate my mouth moisture.
I don't. Also, my ex used to give me shit about that too.
Sorry.
I don't like spit. You're a very moist kisser. No, you're not. Just every now and then you kiss me and there's a little extra left over, and so I'll just like wipe it off. And that's all. I'm not saying I don't want your kisses. It's just I don't know what to do with that. What, I leave it till it dries? Like, what am I supposed to do? No.
That's the polite thing.
No! No! That's weird. I said at the bar, it's us, and I don't know which part. Was it the part where they were, where she was like on a date with him and
at the Hard Rock?
Yeah, and she was
and
like
she's shoving fries into his mouth the whole time?
No, yeah, she's like, but she's like, oh yeah, my partner and I are like non-monogamous or like, you know, and he's like, oh, what does he think of? She's like, oh, he's right over there, and she's like, hi, and she's like, this is him. And I was like, yeah, that's us. Just being, I don't know. I'm saying that's the only thing I could think of that might be.
I love that guy. What's his name? I think his name is supposed to be Richard. Like, wonderful casting.
And he's just like, just staring. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's any other bar scene. Is there?
I don't remember any bars. No.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a scene where they're at the Tail O' the Pup, the hot dog stand, and there's people roller skating, which apparently one of them is Paula Abdul.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's that.
That's the only other thing that's even remotely
that
I can think of.
I like the part where they're leaving the restaurant. The Lidio or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And people are like, oh, they're taking
All the
pictures, and then
paparazzi.
they start walking out. They're like, you're nobodies. I liked that.
Some of the gags are almost on the level of like a Abrams Zucker movie, like the airplane.
Abrams Zucker movie? What are you saying?
Yeah, that's what I said. Abrams Zucker.
Right, but I don't know what.
I was going to give you examples, like Airplane.
Oh. I've never seen
or like the Naked Gun movies, that kind of shit.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
They also did Kentucky Fried Movie.
Never seen.
Yep.
Never seen.
Yep.
Remember one of the Naked Gun movies where they're like we need protection or something. They're like gonna have sex, and then it's
full body
just
condom.
2 condoms making. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, commentary.
Remember AIDS?
Isn't it weird that people will like not wear condoms? Isn't that weird?
I plead the fifth.
No, I mean like in the sense of like casual sex with people, and we'll just be like, eh.
What I think is weird is that people get pregnant from hookups.
Oh god, yeah. Oh god.
Just pull out, bro. That's the part I don't understand.
I like the guy I hooked up with.
Huh? Oh. Yeah.
He was like, what if I get you pregnant? And I was like, then I will get an abortion. He was like, okay, but I was like, no, it's not happening. Like, there will not be a baby entertained between us. This is not something you need to fear, because this is not something that I will ever. It's like, no. Anyway.
Was it his first time?
I mean, it seemed like it, but no. Although my favorite question, did you come?
Uh-huh.
If you have to ask, the answer is absolutely no. The answer is no. A resounding no. I did not come. Did you
Okay,
come?
but did you climax?
Fuck off. Oh,
Steve Martin wrote this movie.
I know. Who directed? He directed too?
No, he did not.
Okay.
I'll have to look it
Shockingly, he and his wife, who's the romantic
up.
lead,
Victoria Tennant.
they divorced a couple years after this movie came
Really?
out. Yeah.
I'll say about this movie, it's no Shop Girl.
Oh man, Shop Girl was rough.
Also written by Steve Martin.
Oh, I know. It was written
Play
by him.
Or a book.
Yeah, it was a novella and then a movie, and he starred in the movie too.
Yep.
So I was like, ugh.
Mick Jackson directed L.A. Story.
Okay.
He also directed Volcano.
Oh, this explains so much.
And
Okay.
The Bodyguard.
Oh, I've never seen The Bodyguard.
Me either.
Interesting.
We might have to do that.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all.
Yeah. I've never seen it.
I will 100% have to sing I Will Always Love You, though.
Okay.
But really, I'll just shout, and I.
Would you recommend this?
Wow.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Jesus.
Let me ask again. Would you
Think about it.
Would you recommend?
Consider carefully your response.
Would you, like, in all seriousness, do you feel like this is a movie that you would recommend to someone other than Floda as a? You should watch this again.
This is a problem with deciding to do this section. The would you recommend is I've come to realize that
You would
it's
recommend
either
everything.
no
or
yes, but.
Yeah, I think that's Why is that the problem?
Because every time you ask me, I'm like, oh well.
So
Kinda.
yeah, that's why I ask, because I think it lets me know how you feel about the movie in more detail. That's why
That's
I'm
fair.
asking if you recommend it. It's more of a way to
I
get.
guess I just feel bad for the listener because I think I'm projecting a scenario where I would be trying to recommend it to someone, and I'd be like, well, I basically talk myself out of it. Is probably what would.
Yeah.
Then I just feel bad. Anyway, yeah, I would say
Ow.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
So know that going in. Overall, I will say it definitely lost a lot.
Yeah.
It's not what it used to be for me.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I totally expected that.
Oh yeah.
I'm
for
not
sure.
at all surprised by that.
Yeah.
Like the magical realism of the love story
Yeah.
was never my favorite part.
Right. Yeah.
The gags were, and those aren't.
Yeah.
Very few of them are still funny to me. So there's still some good bits. I found there were parts that were funny to me that I didn't expect to be.
Yeah.
But it's like during the fight, their argument like that. I related. That's funnier to me now because I relate to it
For sure.
and.
I do like
when Mary Lou Henner tells him that
oh my god, I know. She's
been having a 3-year affair with Kevin Pollak.
Yeah.
And he's like, and this is how I find out?
You telling me?
That and the fact that I totally relate to. It's something that's you or I would do. He was like, oh, you've been sleeping with my manager? And she's like, how did you know? And he's like, what? I thought I was joking.
Also, I was confused because she was like, it seemed like she was like, oh, I was with someone last night.
Yeah.
So, and he's like, oh, cool. Was it my manager? And she's like, how did you know? And he's like, what? I was kidding. And I was like, wait, what? I was very confused by that because it seemed like she was saying she was hooking up with someone.
Yeah.
And he was like all lovey-dovey with her. And then when he found out it was his manager, he got upset. And then he was like,
yeah,
you've been hooking up for 3 years. And I'm like, wait, but what? Wait, but what? I was like,
Yeah,
wait,
no,
so
it
are
doesn't
you...
really make sense.
Yeah, I was like,
really
so wait,
track,
are
but-
you actually... What? So yeah, it was kind of confusing. I mean, like, I don't care.
She was like, I just thought I should tell you in case someone saw us there together.
Yeah, right. And yeah, I'm just like, I don't understand the part that's like, I don't know. I was like, I don't understand. Like, if it's fine that she's sleeping with other people,
Seemed like.
yeah, then why can't he see someone else
Uh-huh.
without breaking up with her? And then also, why is he upset that she's been sleeping with... I don't...
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't... That was the only part that I was like... It was, like, cool that he was like, oh, okay, you were with someone. That's fine. Thanks for telling me. And then he got upset, and I was like, wait, what? I don't understand. That was where I was like, wait, I'm confused. But then he's, like, upset, and he goes outside, and then he's happy because they're no longer together? And I'm like, but if it's fine that she's sleeping... How is that breaking up? I don't... What? And he's like, starts doing the dance or whatever because they, he's like, I'll just need some time or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's like, dancing. I'm like, wait, what? That's the only part I was
I
like,
know.
none of this tracks. All this is like,
Yeah,
there's like so many pretend emotions and I don't know which one's actually real. I'm like, what are you doing? So yeah, that was, but yeah, I
How
did.
about the roller skating in the museum? So quirky.
Oh my God.
I loved it.
Oh,
as
I'm
a-
sure
as a
it
teen.
would be like, it was just confusing to me. I
Yeah.
mean, it was one of those things like I've talked about where we were referencing this just the other day where it seems like the angles and the like
yeah,
that
yeah.
she's getting are like the same angles that we were
right.
seeing, I don't know if I would recommend it though, honestly, only because I feel like I don't feel like there was enough of a benefit.
In the cost benefit analysis.
Yeah, it's
You don't come out ahead.
yeah. I mean, I really don't like that they got together in the end.
Uh-huh.
Because it was like what you said when she was like, what if I want to go to England? And he's like, then I would, cause like heaven and earth if it, whatever.
Yeah.
I'd make the plane not go off. And you're like, oh, that's cool. That sounds consensual. And I'm like, right. Yeah. And that's what
Also,
happens.
You could just go to England.
Right. And he doesn't. And it's like, no, you have to stay here with me. And I'm like, no, I
Even
don't
though
like...
he's gotten fired from a job he hates.
Exactly. And he's gotten
What's keeping you
fired
there?
from a job he hates and gotten another job that he hates.
Right.
He's somehow going to stay there and make sure that she... And I'm like, what is this about?
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just like, no, I don't like this. And it's like, oh, what? I don't know. I was like, I don't want them together. Also, why wouldn't you...
That's twice.
Pick Richard E. fucking Grant. He looks like a cartoon villain. He's got the body of a fucking stick
Cartoon
figure.
villain.
Yeah, exactly. He's truly one of those people. Like, there's like guys that I look at. Like, David Tennant is one that I'm like, oh, he's hot. And I'm like, no, he's not hot. I want to look like him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really attracted to David Tennant, but I want to look like him. And then there's people that I'm like,
No
oh,
relation.
I'm attracted to this person. Correct. And I'm like, oh, I'm attracted to this person, but I don't want to look like them. And then there's the, oh, do I want to be you or do you?
Uh-huh.
And I feel like Martin Donovan and Richard E. Grant are people that fall into that category. I'm like, oh, yeah. So that's my feelings on it. I think that's why it's so complicated with Richard. I'm like, oh my God, Richard E. Grant. Because I'm like, he's so fucking hot. I'm like, oh, right, I want to look like him, but I also think he's fucking hot.
Apparently, Steve Martin said, this was the end of my mature film career. It started with All of Me and ended with this movie. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, we should watch All of Me.
Oh, yeah, it's on the list.
Yeah, I know. So we should do it. Yeah, but I don't feel like there is enough. Like, honestly, I didn't feel like they had that much chemistry.
Yeah.
Which, I always feel like that with
I
like
mean, it does
married
a good job
couples.
of-
Whenever married couples are like in a movie together, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
this is not gonna work. Only because I'm like, it's too, you know each other too much. Like you're not acting.
Yeah, right.
You're pretending, which is different, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're not actually performing. You don't really think you have to because you're already,
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. And it just fell flat for me. Like the only time like married couples, the only time it works when there's chemistry is if they're not playing like lovers.
Yeah.
Like back when they were together, fucking the mom from Malcolm in the Middle and oh god, who's the guy? Oh god, why can't I think of his name? He plays Peralta's dad.
Bradley Whitford.
Yeah, Bradley Whitford. He was in an episode of Malcolm in the Middle, and
Were they married?
Mhm, they were married at the time, and they were like they were supposed to be enemies, and they were arguing, and I'm like, this is not believable, but it was like perfect because I was like, y'all look like you're about to fuck.
I want to read you a description of a different film.
Uh-oh.
Very short synopsis.
Uh-oh.
A middle-aged artist obsessed with his pretty young assistant, a precocious 12-year-old
No.
living in a hotel. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh.
And a neurotic
oh.
lawyer. Okay, never mind.
What's it from? What's that from?
It's from New York Stories.
Oh.
Guess who wrote it and directed it?
Steve Martin?
Woody Allen.
Oh, God. Why?
That's why it was going to be a roast. Or cell
Okay,
phone.
I saw this video of like Woody Allen talking to what's her name with the eyeliner.
I don't know what that is.
Oh man, I don't remember what her name is, but anyway, he's like, who's your favorite philosopher? And she's like, I don't have one. He's like, oh, you don't have one? And she's like, do you have a favorite philosopher? And he was like, yeah, I like all of them. And she's like, name one. He was like, well, I like all of them. She's like, really? Which one? And he was like, oh, I like all of them. And she's like, can you name one? Can you name one that you like? She's like, I'm not familiar with like philosophers, so can you name one? And he's just like, literally like just looks at the camera like I don't like what the fuck? And I'm like, yep. This is exactly how
Wow.
men. This is exactly how
This
men.
is exactly how men. Period.
Yeah, I love that. That was like a thing I got asked on my Twitch. Someone was like, "Who's your favorite philosopher?" And I was like, "No."
All of them. All of them.
I was like, I was like, "No, I don't really do that."
Not.
And I was like, "Who's yours?" And they're like, "Well, I mean."
Just say Simone de Beauvoir.
No, I mean, like, I want to be like, I want
Judith
to.
Butler.
I want to say something that's like not a philosopher. Like someone's like, "Oh, I like
Lucy Berliner.
I like Lil Wayne or whatever." Like what? I hate that because it's such a. I honestly feel like most questions like that are just pretentious questions in the sense not like okay you can like philosophers,
Clearly.
but I feel like saying who's your favorite philosopher it does not defeat the point of like philosophy is like picking one that's your favorite. I'm like what's the point of that? Like if you can't, I don't know. I'm like why would I? What? No.
I mean, you may as well just say what's your favorite cosmology.
What's your favorite star in the sky?
Chimney Glick?
Yeah, that was what I was trying to do. Yeah, thank you.
Hoozle.
Yeah.
I read that because, well, besides I thought it was going to be an own, but this is called LA Story, presumably in a response to New York Stories.
Really? Interesting.
That's what the trivia said.
Interesting.
Also, I saw two conflicting things about who voices his automated fancy
shit.
voice recorder.
What were the two conflicting things? I didn't read any of the trivia about this
One
movie
of
whatsoever.
them said Robert Picardo.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the trivia it says like somebody, just like someone on the crew or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also, Sarah Jessica Parker has stated that this movie changed her career. Up until this point, she had always played mousy girls or the best friend. And this movie put her on the map as sexy. Oh yeah, Terry Jones is does the voice of Victoria Tennant's mother.
Yeah.
I'm so mad because
you called it.
Yeah, and I'm upset about it. This was actually kind of interesting. Apparently, the freeway sign was programmed in multiple languages, so they didn't have to subtitle it when they released it in other languages.
Oh wow!
Oh, I didn't know this either. The license plate 2GAT123, which is Steve Martin's license plate, is in a bunch of other movies.
Oh wow!
It's the California standard fictional license plate, analogous to a 555 telephone number.
Wow!
Yeah.
I had no idea. I
Right?
had no idea. That's wild. That makes sense, I guess. I didn't know that they did that.
Oh yeah, and apparently there's a Lithgow's in a scene that did.
Yeah,
got cut.
deleted.
Also, Scott Bakula.
What?
Yeah.
That's insanity.
Which means 2 Starfleet captains in one movie.
Oh yeah, I was like, Lithgow was not. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the opening scene with the hot dog being carried.
What? Yeah. What the fuck?
Apparently, that's meant to be a reference to La Dolce Vita because it opens with a statue of Jesus being transported by helicopter.
Oh yeah. Okay. So the hot dog. What? Oh my god. Shit like that is like.
I know.
I'm like, all right. We're going too
and
hard
who
on
knows?
it. Was it after this that I had my existential meltdown?
After what?
After we watched the movie that I had my existential meltdown about not being a good artist.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was. I don't think it was before the movie.
Why do you bring that up?
Just because I was thinking about how stupid that was. And so I was like, I'm a better artist. And then I was like, oh, yeah, here we go. Now I know why I...
Also, apparently Victoria Tennant is in All of Me.
Yeah, I saw that. That's what made me look up if they were actually married. Because I was like, oh, yeah. If she was in more than one Steve Martin movie, they were probably in a relationship.
Oh, also, apparently his shoes with the roller skates are modified Air Jordan 5s.
Oh, my God. Also, yeah, you were like, oh, yeah, this was unheard of at the time or whatever. Like the flip. You know.
Oh, yeah. What the fuck?
What? What the fuck?
Well, I can't find the thing I'm looking for.
Oh, I see.
Here's a trivia that just says Martin Lawrence, uncredited. I agree. You'll love this. Here's another piece of trivia. This movie's opening title card reads Los Angeles, temperature 72 degrees. That's trivia about this film.
My favorite type of IMDb trivia, other than listing all the people who weren't cast, is
here we go.
Just describing something that happens in the film and calling it trivia. Like, that's not trivia. That's not trivia. Like, I don't...
Yeah, it just says that director Mick Jackson used sound editor Larry Kemp's voice for the answer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I love IMDb trivia because it just comes from nowhere. Like, anyone can put it in there.
Yeah, get on it, people.
Yeah, and so it just will say shit, and no one ever checks. So
I'm gonna start doing shit like this is the last movie Steve Martin made where he wore a condom the entire time.
you what movie was it or TV show was it that you were like, oh, this is the same?
It was the last season. It was an episode of the last season of 9/9.
Oh shit. That was amazing.
It's up there.
Yeah.
You can go see it.
I know.
Completely unfact checked by me or anyone else.
Yeah. It was approved. It took like a week and it got approved. So maybe that's... I don't know if it gets fact checked or what.
Most certainly does not because everything's...
Oh, that's fair, yeah.
Can't be true.
It's the fucking Wild West.
I know, it's kind of fun in that way. It's like one of the...
Oh, yeah.
One of the last places on the internet that is that unregulated in that way and also isn't just
a I also like when it will
breeding ground for
it will compare
fascism.
it will it will compare to movies.
Yeah.
And it'll be like this movie stars Steve Martin playing a man who roller skates in a museum. 12 years later, Richard E. Grant would star in a film where he played a man who had never roller skated before. And you're like, what? That's...
Yep.
What the fuck? Like...
I do...
And I'm just like, I feel like that's such a stretch. You're just desperate to find a connection to something else.
It's almost like conspiracy theory level.
Or, yes, or it'll be like, Richard E. Grant was in a movie with so-and-so who did a film where they were a like roller skate manufacturer, and you're like, what? Okay.
Yeah. Richard in Down and Out in Beverly Hills, Richard Dreyfuss plays a guy who owns a wire hanger manufacturer.
In Mommy Dearest, they beat the kid with a wire hanger.
Yeah.
Like the
I was gonna make an awesome joke about illegal abortions, but go off, Queen.
And If These Walls Could Talk.
Is that a movie about abortion or something?
Yeah, that movie fucked me up. Watching that movie,
I don't know anything about it, but I believe you.
Yeah, it's just about abortion. And then they made If These Walls Could Talk 2 about lesbianism.
Mm-hmm. Is it about if these sugar walls could talk?
But like they have this scene where like someone's and If These Walls Could Talk. I didn't watch If These Walls Could Talk.
Are these like TV movies?
It was like an HBO. Like, it was like an HBO movie. It was HBO, but like someone's getting.
So titties.
I don't know. I just know that
in a movie about
it's like vignettes of like, you know, and in the last one, like Anne Heche, I think, plays someone that's getting an abortion, and in the middle of getting an abortion, the abortion being given to her by Cher,
Natch,
someone like shoots up the clinic and kills Cher.
Oh,
and in the middle of her getting this abortion.
Grey's Anatomy much?
Right? Exactly. Like, Cher gets, like, shot and killed, and, like, she's just, like, sitting there, like, with her doctor, like, mid-abortion, like, bleeding out on the floor, and she's just like, can somebody help me? And I was, like, 12, and I was like, oh my god, this is so terrifying, and it was, like, horrifying to see. And I was like, wait, I don't understand what I'm supposed to feel about this. I'm like, because this seems like abortion is dangerous. Like, this doesn't seem like it's telling me. Like, I'm like, I get it. Like, yeah, don't shoot up abortion clinics. I'm like, but also it feels like they're telling you that it's actually really dangerous to get one, which
it is.
Doesn't, well, yeah. But I'm like, that doesn't.
You should not get an abortion because your doctor might get shot.
Exactly. I'm like, what?
Well, I mean, you shouldn't get it because it's a crime against God, first of all. Second, if you go through with it, you deserve to get shot. And if you happen to miss the bullet, you deserve for your abortion to get botched because your doctor got shot, who was actually the intended target. Solved it.
It's just so, like, it's so terrifying. Yeah. What's your favorite Steve Martin movie?
Oh, well,
this one?
I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to revisit.
Yeah.
I'm really curious what else. I used to really love The Lonely Guy. That's another one I want to watch.
Okay.
I also watched The Man with Two Brains several times, which is also features Oh Pointy Birds. I know that one won't hold up.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Sure.
There's Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, which is one of those where it takes footage from a bunch of like noir movies, and then he edits himself into.
Oh wow.
Lonely Guy. What's another one?
I really like Father of the Bride. Also, Father of the Bride 2 is good.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's no. What's the one he did with Goldie Hawn? No, it's Terry Garr. The Out-of-Towners. It's a remake.
I think it's Goldie Hawn.
Is it Goldie Hawn?
Yeah.
Anywho.
Terry Garr wasn't in shit after like the 80s.
Yeah, well, they don't, once you hit 60, nobody cares about you. I do love her as Phoebe's Buffet's mom.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. She's great.
Yeah. Also in an episode of the original series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Anyway. See Chris out.
Deuces!
Out of work.